friends, myself Vikas Kumar Shakya. I again welcome you all on my channel VBSORG. So this is the topic list in Python which I'm going to discuss today. So let's start without any further add-ons. So let me open the IDE. Okay, so this has been started now. So Python 381 cell. So let's discuss something about the list. What is a list? Well, in Python, when you will be using the lists or when you will be adding the items to the list or any operations you're doing to the list, then the way you will be accessing the list will be just like an array. Just like you access an array, the same way you will be accessing the list, right? So you can say more or less it's like array list which you work with in Java, right? So I'm not sure if how many of you are aware about Java array list, but this is something similar to that. I mean, you will be able to understand when I will explain all these things. So if you have to start a list, if you have to initialize a list, then you need to write the name of the list, the name of the variable which will be containing the list contains. So you can write like list1 is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is the way you initialize a list, right? So if you print it, print, sorry, print list1. If you write this, then you will get the contents of the list, right? So this is the way you initialize a list. And there can be various operations which you need to perform, and how you need to access this list, how you will access this list. I'm going to tell you about that first. So it's just like an array. So in array you perform the search using the indexes. If you want to access some element, then you search that element using the index. So if I have to look for the third element, then what I will do, I will just write like print list1, and then third element means 2, because the index starts from 0. Okay, so it will give me the third element. The output should be 4. No, it's not printf, it should be print list1 and 2. Okay, so it's 4, right? So if we are talking about this list, then let me tell you one more interesting thing about the list in Python. When you are accessing the elements in a list, every index in this list, every item at a particular index at this list has 2 indexes, right? So suppose if I go here, it's 2. So this is at the index 0, but at the same time this is also at the index -5, right? How it is done? This is the usual way of assessing or finding the index of an element, like it's at index 0. But when we are assessing some list from the end, then it becomes index -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So if you write um, printf print list1, and if you give -5, then also the result would be same. The result would be the first element, right? So it's 2, right? So you can provide the index in negative as well, right? So it can be useful in many ways when you are traversing the list from the beginning or from the end. So that's the way it could be useful, right? So if I say if I reach to this element, this is 4, which is at the index 0, 1, 2, and from the end -1, -2, -3. So if I write like this, print list1 and -3, then I will be able to get 4. Okay, so every item in a list has 2 indexes. One index is counted from the beginning based on 0 index, and the other index is counted from the end of the list, and the base becomes -1, right? So I hope you understood what I'm trying to explain here. So let's move ahead and move to the next topic on the list, which is the slicing of the list, how we slice the list. Suppose I have this list 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I want to slice this list like this 3 4 5. I just want to take these elements 3 4 5 and I want to spruce out a new list, right? So what I will do, list 2 is equal to list 1, and I will like write like this. From the index, from where I need to begin, the index would be 1. I want to take all these 1 2 3, so the index would be 1. So from where I need to start, I need to start from index. And how many elements I need to take? I need to take 1 2 3, and the last in I need to take 3 elements, right? So number of elements I will provide here, so I need to take 3 elements. So what will give me? List 2. And now let's print list 2. Okay, so it's not matching the parenthesis, some syntax error. So list 2, and it's just need to give the name, and then it should print. So 3 4. So this way we can slice, but you can see that I have given 3 elements. I said that I need to start from index 1, and from index 1 I need to take 3 elements. But you need to remember one thing, that whenever you are working with the lists, and you are slicing the list, then in that case the number of elements that you have given, the last element will not be included in that, right? So if you have to include 3 4 5 as well, then you need to give 4 here. So I need to give like this: list 2 is equal to list 1 and 1 4. So these are the number of elements you need to take. So now the fourth element starting from 1 will not be included. So it will start from here 1 2 3 4. The fourth element will not be included. So 3 4 and 5, these will be assigned to list 2. Now let's print it. Print list 2 3 4 5. So you need to remember this. And let's do one more thing, the negative indices. Let's see how it goes with the negative. If I give the negative indices, so let me give it to list 2 is equal to list 1, and should start from -4. It should be -1 -2 -3 and -4. From -4 I need to reach to next 4 elements. So -4 and give it a 4 again. Then let's see what happens. Then let's print again. Print list 2 3 4 5, right? So you can understand that how you can use these indices, the negative and positive indices, to assess the elements, to slice the list. So this is the way you can slice the list. And the other things we should discuss about this uh, is the variation of this slicing. Suppose I write like this: list 2 is equal to list 1, and I just gave 3. Then what it should give me? Let's see. Print list 2. It gives me 2 3 4. So what does it mean? It means if I don't give the first value, I mean the index, then it will assume the index 0. So the index would be 0, the element would be this one, and then I have written 3, right? So 3 elements I need to take. So starts from here 2 3 4. So in this case you need to remember that it is going to include 3 elements starting from the beginning, right? So 2 3 4. So everything has been included. So you need to remember this difference when you are using this way and you are using the way this one, right? So let's see one more variation. List 2 is equal to list 1, and then I gave like 2, and I don't want to give the number of elements. Okay, so what it will give me? Print list 2. Let's see, 4 5 6. So what it means, that starting from the index 2, I mean from here 0 1 and 2, starting from this index, just give me all the elements till the end. So this is the way it will do, right? So this is the way it works when we are talking about the lists. Okay, so I know, I hope you understand this one. Let's do one more variation of this thing. List 1, and I start from -4, and then I gave like this. So what it should give me? Print list 2. What it will give me? -4, starting from this I need to go till end. So it should include 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see. Yes, it's 3, 4, 5, 6. So I hope you got the point here. So let's move to the move to some other operations which we can perform on the list. So other operations include like adding the elements to a list, how we will add the elements to the list. Suppose you want to add few more elements to the list. Suppose you want to add 3 more elements to this list, which has been declared as list 1. So what you can do, one way is like list 1 is equal to list 1 plus 3 more elements, 12, 13, and 14. Right? Now list 1 has been extended till 12, 13, 14, and it will add 3 more items at the end of the existing list. So if I print it, then it will print me like list 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14. So everything has been added at the end. So this is one way you can add new elements to the list. And the other way is using the append function and extend function. And there is one more function, insert. So let's discuss one by one. So first I will discuss about the insert function. When we talk about the insert function, suppose I want to add some element at this position after 4 or after 3, anything. So I will use insert function. Insert, and I need to provide the index. So I want to add it after 3. So the index would be 0, 1, 2. So at the second position, I will add another element 9. Okay, so let's see what happens. Print list 1, and you can see 2, 3, 9. So at the index 2, 0, 1, 2, at the index 2, I have added 9 successfully. So this is one method to add some elements at a particular index in list. And the other way is to use the extend function. The next method is to use the extend function. Suppose I use this function list1 dot extend. Right. So if you extend something in a list, then those elements will also get added at the end. So I just want to add 23 and 24 at the end. Extend. I just want to extend it, and let's see if they have been added or not. List1. Okay, so they have been added here, 23 and 24, right? So this is the way you need to add the elements, right? The other method is append method, list1 dot append. But wait, when we have extend method, then why do we have this append method to add the element at the end? So understand that you need to first look at the results when I will use, after I will use this append function. So I just want to give it here A and B. You might be thinking like it was an array of all the integers, then why I'm giving the characters here? Let me tell you one thing, like in case of Python, the lists are not all about this single data types. They doesn't store all the elements of a single data type. They can store any values, any number of values having different data types. So here we have integers, but at the end I'm going to add 2 characters. Let's first print it. So that print list1. Okay, so here you can see 2 elements A and B newly added, but you can see a new list inside this list, right? So now you can understand what is the difference between the extend function and the append function that you use. In case of extend function, you add the element at the end of an existing list, but in case of append, you append a new list at the end of a list, right? So if I talk about this list, if I say like in this list, how many elements are there? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 elements in this list. But when we talk about this list, then how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And this is one unit for this list. This is one single unit for this list. So this is A and B as other list. So the number of elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So if I count the number of elements in this list, then you can see it. So len is the function when you want to see the length of the list. So len list1, and then you can see the number of elements in this list. So it's 12. Okay. So this is the way you add the elements in the list. So these are the four ways you can use to add the elements to the list. One is simple extension, just like I did this, adding a plus, and then insert method to insert at a particular index. Then we have an extend method to add the elements at the end of a list, and then append method to add another list at the end of a list, right? So if I do one more operation here using append, list1 dot append, and if I write 78 and 90 again, and then I do like this, and if I print it, then you will be able to see two lists inside this list. Okay, so you can see that this is another list and this one is another list, and this entire list is another entity. So a list can contain a list in itself. List can contain number of lists in itself, right? So this is the way the Python lists are different from other lists like in C++ or in Java. Okay, so let's see what else we can do. If I do len, then list1, just check once again, then it will give me 13, right? So this is a single unit inside this list. Inside the main list, this is a single unit, this is a single element, right? So these will be counted as one element only. A, B is a list of two elements, and 78 and 90 is a list of another two elements, but in itself they are a single units. They will be counted as one when they are inside a parent list. Okay, so let's move ahead for the next operation. The next operation is the search operation. Search operation is something you need to perform many times. Okay, so here I just want to count those integers which equals to 4. Okay, so suppose there is only one integer 4. Suppose if we have more than one times we have 4 in this list, then that count will be displayed using the count function. So list dot count, and if I give 4, then it should come list1 dot count, sorry, list1 dot count, and give it 4, then it will give me 1. So if there are more 4s in this list, then that count will be displayed. So you can check that one yourself. Okay, so it gives me the number of times a particular value appears in the list. Okay, so if we want to check if a particular value is available in a list or not, then we can use this method. We can just write like suppose we want to check if there is a value 14, if this exists in this list or not. Then what we will do, 14, we will write like 14 in list1, right? So if I write like 14 in list1, then what will happen? If I write like 14 in list1, then if the 14 value is in list1, then it will give me true, otherwise it will give me false. So this is giving me true because 14 exists in the list. If I write like 44 in list1, then it's false because this value is not there. So this can also be used at many places. When we will write some sample applications, then we will see how these can be used, where they can be useful. But you can understand, like if you are able to think about the real life scenarios where you write some applications, real life applications, then you can understand that what is the significance of these things which have been provided by the Python, right? So let's move ahead to the next function, list1 dot index. You provide a value like 4, and it will return you the index of that value. So it gives me 3. So 0, 1, 2, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So this 4 is at the index 3. So that's why it has given me 3. And please remember that it will return me the index of an item, which falls first in that list, right? So if there were two 4s, like one 4 was here, other 4 was here, then it will give me the index of this one, not this one. It will return me the index of that item only. Okay, how we can delete the items from a list? There may be occasions where you need to delete the items from the list. So there is one method, del, You just need to write like del, and then you can give the name of the list, and then you can provide the index, right? Suppose I want to remove the item at index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose I want to remove 5. So I need to give the index 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's 4, right? And now if you print list 1, then what will happen? You can see that there is no more 5. 5 is not there in this list. So this way you can remove the items from the list. This is one method to remove the item from the list. Okay, and apart from this, you can use the del to remove another list inside the list, right? So if I have to remove this list itself, then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if I give the index 10 here, then what will happen? This entire list will be removed, because this entire list is one unit for this parent list, right? So if I do like this, and then I print list 1, then it removes A and B both. Basically, the list is an entity, a single entity in here, single item in here, so that was removed, right? So this way you can remove the items from a list. One more method is remove method. List1 dot remove. You can use this remove method to remove a particular value. If you have to remove a particular value, say 24 from the list, then what you will do? Remove. And now let's see what it contains. Print list1. Okay, so 24 is no more. Okay, one more thing, like just like I told you about the index, which returns you the index of the first time this item is found. The same way, if you use the remove method for a particular value, then it will remove only that value which comes first in the list. Suppose there were two 24s in this list, suppose there was one more 24 in here, then in that case, if you call remove on 24, then only this remove could have been removed, but this 24 could have been removed, but this 24, if it was there at the end, will not be removed. To remove that, you again need to call list1 dot remove, right? So it removes only the first occurrence of the value that you have provided in here. So this is the way it works. Let's move to the next method. The next method is the pop method. Yes, the same method which you use for the stack. So if you do pop, then what it will do, it will remove the last element from the list, and it will show you, right? So if I write like pop this list1 dot pop, you can understand what it will return, right? You can pause the video for a while, and you can just imagine like what will be the output, right? You can just test yourself what should be the output. I'm saying like when you will be using pop, then in that case it will remove the last element from the list. So if it will be removing the last element, then what is the last element? 78 and 90. This is the single element inside this list. So what we are expecting here? Yes, the last element is a list, right? So this method can also be useful when you are finding a list inside a list, okay, and you want to remove those lists. And same way remove can be also used, del can also be used, I have shown you. So this is the way you can you can remove the items from the list. And if you want to create or slice a list from an existing list, then you can use the slicing things that we have done earlier to spruce out the um, list from an existing list. It may be that you want to check which list is there, right? Apart from the main, inside the main list, which else, what is the other list which is available, and you want to just check the elements in that list, and then you can easily perform these operations, and there is nothing to worry about, right? So now if I just like print list1, then what you will find, 2, 3, 9, 4, 6, 12, 13, 12, 14, and 23, right? So now if I spruced out pop, if I do like list1 dot pop once again, then what will happen? It returns me 23. So if I write list1, if I print the contents of list1, then you can see that 23 is not there, right? So you can see that I have not used print here. There is no hard and fast rule when you are printing that you specifically use print. You can do this without using the print function, right? So this way it worked. So 2, 3, 9, 4, 6, 12, 13, 14. So this is the remaining list, and you keep doing pop till all the elements are done. And once all the elements are done, then if you call pop, then you will get an exception, right? You keep popping, and when the last element is also done and then you call pop, then you will get another an exception, right? So we have discussed about the exception handling last video. So you can do one thing, like you can write your own program. This should be an assignment for you, like you can write your own program in Python. Although I have not shown you how to write a new program using the this editor where you run it, write it not in the command prompt, but a simple editor, and then you compile it and then you run it. But I will cover these things from next video onwards. But you can try, if because it should not be that tough for you to write it. There is a run function, so you can just run it, and there is a run menu item. You can run it, run module, and then you can see the results. So it should not be that hard and fast rule anything or any hard thing to do for you, so you can do that. It's not hard and fast rule that if I am telling you all these things on the command shell, then you also follow the same. You can do your own experiment. You can explore your mind more, explore your knowledge more. So just do that. Okay, so you can write one program where you are trying to pop the number of elements from a list, and then you are handling the exception as well when the last element of the item will be reached, of the list will be reached, and then the exception will be thrown. So you can do that one, and in next video, before I move ahead, I will just let you know about this thing. Okay, so this is the pop method which has been done, and I think almost all the topics related to list I have covered. I think one more topic left where you can check about the list, whether the list has something or not, whether the list contains something or not. So that method is it true? Is it true is a method which you can use to find out if a list is valid or not. Okay, so this doesn't seem to be available in this one. It's a name error, so I need to, probably I'm missing something, like the name might be not correct, but I will let you know in the next video about this one as well, if this exists or not, because maybe that I'm missing the syntax here, right? So we will discuss this thing later, and we will discuss the program where you will be popping all the elements and just handling the exception which could occur in that function. So just stay tuned and wait for the next video, and just keep trying these things on your own laptop or on desktop, whatever you have, and let me know if you find any problems while doing while exercising these things. Okay, so I would request you all to provide me your inputs, comments, in case you have something to say to me, like if I need to add something more in this, or you are happy with this one, or you like this video. And if you like this video, then obviously please subscribe my channel, please share, and please press the bell icon so that you get the notifications whenever I upload a new video. Okay, so we'll meet in the next video. Till then, have a nice day, have a good day, and bye bye.